Hello everybody and welcome back to Domekeeper. Now this episode of Domekeeper is probably going to be our last Domekeeper for a little while. Going on hiatus. Not going away forever, but it's going to be taking a back seat because I'm going to be replacing it with some RimWorld. Because I've done everything I think I want to do in Domekeeper, although to be fair I would like to... I'm going to take one more stab at Prestige mode. Or specifically minor prestige mode, because I mean, like, you know, have we gone down since last time? I don't know, but like, I think we can do it. Our best is engineer. I'm gonna give it a go. So yeah, this will be our last Domekeeper for a little while. Now it's not going away forever, okay? Because I don't think the dome matters, but I'm going to take the slightly shallower dome. Yeah, why not? It's not going away forever because I really like Domekeeper, and I kind of want to basically, when they add new things, I want to partake of those things. Okay, I'm never not going to want to partake of new Domekeeper content, but we've done, I actually don't know how many videos since the Double Dome update come out. We pretty exclusively ran the two new domes, and I've been having a great time with them. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But I'm pretty comfortable with where we're at right now. I'm comfortable ending the series, basically, or temporarily ending the series, you know, putting that bad boy on hiatus. Until they, you know, add more stuff. And they will, because they like the game that they make. That's a respectable attitude to have about it as well. They're like, hey, we like the game. We want to keep making stuff for the game. So, you know, hopefully, they will. And that would be sick. So, we're going to try one last stab at the old miner mode. I need to beat... well, that's so much. 2, 4, 3, 4. I actually forget what our point total number was. But basically, I'm going to try and beat 2,500, I think. Is like my internal barometer for where we would be to have a good run at getting a good score. So, that's my goal. I was about to say, any music enjoyers? There we go. The music is back. I'm running the same cave setup that we did last time. I don't know that I'm going to do the old prospecting meter thing. I feel like even though it, like in theory, is good and it tells us where things are, I don't think I ever really benefited from the prospecting meter. You know? Like... we just dug deeper caves and we found a lot of good stuff, to be fair. But I feel like we spent about the same amount of time exploring for all of that stuff than we would have if we were just mining the way I mine. I mean, basically, that prospect meter run, I don't think we actually beat our score, you know? Essentially, the addition of the prospecting meter achieved nothing. So what I'll do is I'll get the gadget, hopefully, and then I'll just turn it into cobalt. Yeah, the old classic. Maybe get an early point multiplier, and then the higher my point multiplier is early on, the more useful these early waves are, the more points we can get, and then by the time you're like popping off in the late waves, hopefully we'll have you know, a good foundation of points to build on. So that's my plan. Ooh, yo, that's 2 sets of 3, by the way. A 4-point multiplier this early on. You shouldn't have, but I'm glad that you did. So yeah, what's gonna happen? Ooh, what the? Okay, what's gonna happen is the next for you, the next two, well, the previous video to this one and this one are going to come out roughly at the same time-ish as RimWorld. basically today is the 11th of August. August? What the of April? A months, am I right? It's the 11th of April, and RimWorld comes out today, but not for me. It comes out in 8 hours as of me recording this. This is 10:27 in the morning. So RimWorld comes out in 8 hours for me, or maybe 7 hours. I forget. It was 9 hours when I looked a little while ago. So I'm going to be recording that for me tomorrow, and I'll probably try and put that RimWorld up on the same day I record it. But you won't, I mean, you'll already know about it because by the time this video comes out, RimWorld will already be out. And the magic of editing. Me. I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna be bold. We have a shockingly good early multiplier, thanks to some pretty choice cobalt finds. Let's capitalize on it. Let's make it count. Let's make it work. So yeah, new RimWorld comes out. I'm very excited to play it because I haven't played RimWorld since Ideology, the second expansion. There's 4 major expansions with the addition of this new one. I've done the one that added the royalty and the psychic powers. Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it back in time to benefit from that. That's okay. The one with the royalty and the psychic powers, that was cool as hell. I love that. I love having my psychically powered people. Then they added in Ideology, basically it was like either preset or kind of craftable, like religious or faith-based systems. So basically it was like craft your own belief system, religious or otherwise. That was cool as hell. I think we did 2 series in that. The first one I died immediately because I crafted without realizing. I like in RimWorld. We're going to be talking about RimWorld today, by the way. I think I like to build. Early on when you're building that initial little colony, and you land somewhere nice. There's a bunch of trees. So you're like, oh, sweet. I'll cut them down. I'll grow some wood. I'll plant more trees. I'll regrow wood. It's an easy building material to acquire, reacquire. I think I made my guys like tree hugger fanatics in such a way that if you ever cut down a tree, they wanted to like unalive themselves in Minecraft, and that made for just a devastating start to a colony where everybody was like, hey, wow, I hate living here, and I hate what our God King Overlord is making us do. And normally I try to be a benevolent god, right? But we needed to build out of this stuff, and I also think they either didn't like to or had some issue with mining through stone. So I basically screwed myself from day one. I just said, hey, every building material you could want to build out of, nah, illegal. It's going to make your gods cry. And I'll tell you what, that really made them cry a lot. It went badly as a RimWorld colony ever has for me, really. And then we ran it back, and then we crafted a much finer belief system. I think we entered people into enemy raiders who showed up. We would enter them into we call an indentured work program, is I think the polite way to say it. And so they would work for us, and in exchange they got to live, and it worked really well. Let me be the first to tell you, it worked really well. A little too well, perhaps. So we crafted a much better belief system in that second one, and we didn't actually get off the world. So I think I've gotten off the world once, or maybe twice, I forget. I've done the classic build a space, or maybe I might have done the classic one in my own time, because there's multiple ways to end RimWorld, right? There's the classic build a spaceship and get off the planet. That's sick. There's go and find a spaceship. Never done that, because you got to trek all your people halfway across the world. It's a nightmare. Oh, yeah, give me that. I'm gonna go back. There's in Royalty, and this one we did do. They added a mode or an end game that was like the royal people have showed up on the planet, and they're a new faction. Yeah, all that good stuff. But like, if you can entertain the High Stellarch, which is basically their king or ruler, analogous individual. If you can bring him to your place, you can invite him once you hit particular prerequisites. You invite him there, and if he has a banging time, he's going to invite you off this shithole with you or with him. We did that. We failed once. I had to run it. I save scummed the crap out of it, right? Because we ran it, and then like some dude, I think while he was hunting, just winged a shot far to the left, shot the king in the face, and he was not happy about that. So I was like, I'm gonna run it back. I don't think I'm gonna let that stand, because we were like a day away or something from finishing it. So we've done that one. Then in Ideology, they added a new one that we didn't get to do, called the Nexus or something like that. What I remember, you kind of like Matrix style download your consciousness into simulated machine world or something like that, and then you get to start again. You get to bring like a kind of grouping of your best and brightest with you, and then you get to start a fresh RimWorld colony, and you have to do that a few times, I think, in order to find like pieces of the, I don't even know, the Tacitus or whatever, and then you kind of put that together into some victory condition. I forget exactly how you do it, but we tried that, but the colony got so big for so long that the raids we were facing just became horrendous. It was like a mechanoid raid, and they had one of those which it like sprayed gas into the atmosphere. It was poisoning all the crops and poisoning our people, which meant that we had to go and fight the thing, and I don't like being forced into action on such short notice. If they're like, hey, this thing's going to happen in X days, you need to go and fix it or sort it out or partake of its destruction or what have you. Easy money, dude. I'm down. I'll go. I'll kill some people. I don't care. But then they were like, hey, by the way, these guys are also like on your map. Do we have one left over? No, okay. Yeah, they're like, these guys are on your map and you need to deal with them immediately. And we went to deal with them, and our guys just got messed up. There was no two ways about it. They were getting destroyed, and I thought, you know what, I could save scum the crap out of this, but we're gonna have to fight them again anyway. And the longer we wait, the worse it gets for us. So we'll say that is the unfortunate end of the colony. And it was. Everybody died. I even sent a whole bunch of people into, like, we had a bunch of temporary homies hanging out. I sacrificed the shit out of them. And you'll never tell me it was the wrong decision as well, because I truly believe in the superiority of our individual colony, and screw everybody else. At least in that one. I think that might even be the way I built my, like, people. Like, their belief system evolved to be like, yeah, we like, collectively, we like all of our people. Everybody else, you know? Ick. Hate that. So I really like RimWorld, and I'm really excited to be playing it again. Because there's so much. Because there's 2 new expansions, right? I'm sure I've talked about this before, but while we're playing minor mode, I'm going to talk about it like in depth. This will be, this will be what it's all about. So you got the royalty one, psychic powers. You got the ideology one, religious beliefs and or consequences. Then the next one that I didn't touch. I own it, but I never actually put a series out on it. Was biotech, which was all like genetic manipulation and or splicing of your colonists, and new like bionic equipment, and it was all like growing organs, and your colonists can have children now. They couldn't do that before, and obviously it's sped up because it's a game, right? But your colonists can like have children, and then you can either just let them grow normally. I think this is how it works. You can either let them just do their thing, or you can kind of intervene with their development, and you can splice genes in as they grow and things like that. So you can make them like strong and tough, but maybe they need to like, they're more resilient, but they need to eat more to compensate and things like that. It's cool. There's like a balance to the crafting of your people, and there's new like bionic stuff, and there's also these like, if you played RimWorld or know anything about RimWorld, you know the mechanoids, the robo dudes that like come and really kind of mess you up sometimes. At least they mess me up. You can have them as workers. Not quite them as they are, but you can have a version of them with like a little mind link device that lets one of your guys control them, which is sick. And then you can get like more and more, I think is how it works. You get more and more powerful versions of the mind link device that lets you like either control bigger ones or maybe control more of the smaller ones, and that requires you beating like some kind of boss mechanoid creature that shows up, and like you get the upgrade from them, you know, when that happens. I think it's cool. It sounds really cool. Because you could have like, you know, worker drones or whatever. You can combine that with, I forgot one of the ideology things is if you're like tree people, which how people were, you can grow trees that produce creatures that do things, like a little gremlin orb thing that produces wood, or I think in our case we had a bunch of worker gremlin creatures that just went around and like harvested basic resources and stuff. It was cool as hell. So imagine that, plus some worker robots. I think you can even get combat versions of the robots. Plus all of your homies are like genetically modified to be super freaking powerful. You know, just insane metabolisms, and they all you do is grow food so your homies can eat, and then they eat and they're just like shredded, dude. I'm looking forward to it. And then in Anomaly, the new one, it's just like, what if SCP but in RimWorld, right? All sorts of new, weird, horrendous shit going down. And I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, like, in a kind of morbid way, right? Like, I think what's going to happen, depending on the frequency and number of weird, messed up things that can happen to your colony, either over the course of a run or any one time. I don't know if it's going to be like, at the beginning of the run, the game picks, you know, a weird thing to happen to your colony. Or if the longer you go, the more likely you are to experience weird stuff, and you could conceivably experience them all. Like, there's some weird stuff in Anomaly. And I get the feeling that this next series isn't going to be so much a, hey, we start here and we end 120 episodes later. It's going to be, we start here and then we end 20 episodes later, and then we start and then we end 35 episodes later, and then 40 and then 60, because everything is trying to kill us. And there's like invisible demon things that haunt your dreams, and corpses of your own people that follow you around, and the friggin' flesh that hates, apparently, is here to just flesh up the place. You know, it's interesting. You got to build containment facilities to contain creatures and study them to figure out how to beat them. I'm in. I'm already in. I love it. But I think we're going to die to some of this stuff a lot. Like the invisible creature that just stabs you or whatever. Like that thing's going to mess us up. Like you have to build perimeter alarms that let you know when this invisible creature is approaching because you can't see it. That's messed up. How cool is that? Like, yeah, again, in a kind of morbid and we're probably all gonna die, at least at some point, to this thing kind of way. But I'm excited to mess around with all the new stuff. It's gonna be good. On top of the biotech stuff that I've never touched, it's gonna make for a action-packed series. Me trying to figure out A, what's going on, and B, how do I now combine these two as of yet untouched expansions to make some real cool stuff happen. Like I'm thinking like, yeah, if we're gonna be the kind of homies that build a containment site to contain awful creatures, you're gonna have to probably genetically modify a couple of homies to just be built like a brick shithouse, basically, and not take any crap from anybody. They're gonna be like great at aiming and shooting, maybe kind of dumb, but mostly you just need them to be able to be stabbed and that not be like a real mood killer. They're gonna be like, yeah, I do this all the time. Stab me again, Eldritch Horror. See what happens. So I'm you know, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have some fun. Plus, part of the game that I always not struggle with, but it's a constant thing on your mind, right? Is at least for me, is playing RimWorld and your colonists getting just destroyed by a rogue shot from somewhere. To me, at least, happens all the time, all the freaking time. So to be able to grow organs. Yeah, because my colonists are... I don't know, in my most recent RimWorld colony, I don't think anybody still had any of their original kidneys. It's just what happens. People come in, they're like, check this out. I'm going to raid you. I'm like, bro, first of all, that's uncouth. Why would you do such a thing? And then they raid me. And then one random shot and one of my homies is like, ow. My spleen. That hurts. And now I have to go and find a replacement kidney or a couple of limbs a few times, you know. And then you got to replace these things, and that's expensive, and it requires medicine and a good doctor, which is fine. But what if you could just grow them? What if you just had like a room full of ears and lungs and kidneys? Now, I did, but they weren't mine. You know, we didn't grow them. We found them, if anybody asks. And so I had a room, or like a refrigerated room. Actually, I don't even need that. I don't think it even needed to be refrigerated, thinking about it. But I basically had a room full of hearts of people, and we just constantly were like, oh, another kidney, another... Actually, I think in terms of legs and stuff, we did bionics most of the time. You know, we'd artificially improve their arms and legs and ears and spines. I think I did spines a lot because as your guys get older, once they pass like 50 or whatever, they've crossed the Rubicon, and every year there's a chance they just develop an issue like cataracts or bad back, right? And bad back screws your guys up because they're now not able to carry as much, and they're slower, and everything hurts a bit more, you know, being like over the age of 20. Anyway, I'd replace their spines pretty frequently because it always felt like it's a failure point in the human body. Hear me out, right? So your spine's shot out by some overzealous, overambitious, real piece of work raider. Nothing below the waist works anymore. That's a problem. Especially if I need you to be like up and around and beating the crap out of prisoners in order to keep them in line, right? We're busy people. So you get a bunch of bionic spines queued up, easy money. Bionic arms and legs makes them move a bit faster. Bionic stomachs. I always loved the bionic stomachs because they got a better like rest or like food multiplier and rest multiplier. I forget exactly how it's described in the game, but like your guys need rest, they need to sleep, right? But having a better bionic stomach and a better bed, a more comfortable bed and things like that, it'd give them a better rest multiplier, and so they would actually need to sleep less, and the less they're sleeping, the more they're working. And I think the bionic stomachs also meant they ate less because it processed better, and you could get some that was like immune to food poisoning or toxins. You know what it was? I remember now. You could get one that was immune to food poisoning and toxins and things like that. You could get a reprocessor stomach that just gave them like bonus food every time they ate food, which was real handy. So you had to cook less, because that's one of the things you do a lot in world is you got homies cooking non-friggin' stop. And then there was the nuclear stomach, which I never effed around with because it had a chance to give you cancer every so many in-game like days or like ticks of their world engine. But they needed like a 1% of the food they normally would, and the nuclear stomach just powered them forever. It's cool as hell. But maybe you could make like maybe in biotech you could make like a radiation resistant individual and you could nuclear stomach them, and then that's basically a brother that doesn't need to eat almost ever. Oh, how cool is that, right? You got me friggin' thinking. Okay, so we're gonna drop this here. I didn't mean to do it there. But you know what, it is what it is. This thing I didn't think it explodes as wide as I thought it used to. I thought it had a wider range than that. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, so I'm ready. I'm excited to friggin' RimWorld. I'm looking forward to it. Grow some organs. You know what always sucked as well? Whenever our homie would lose a tongue. Because it actually, well, first of all, losing any of the facial features was always a problem because it made them, this is not me saying this, okay, because everybody's beautiful, but the game would then consider them to other people as ugly, right? Which was like a -2 malice on their personality or whatever. Everybody was like, they're disfigured. I don't like looking at them, which like, how shallow can you be, bro? But it was a problem because it made them unliked by other people, and if they're unliked by other people, they don't get along with each other that well. It's a whole damn thing. So I'd always replace like facial features if I could. Noses, tongues. If they lost a tongue, they couldn't speak. If they can't speak, they can't trade with people, can't have conversations. It's a whole thing. So you know this man's is going to be growing a vat full of tongues. Do with that information what you will, but I will be doing it. And you can't stop me. Nor should you want to, actually, because it's going to keep everybody looking good. And I wonder if you could genetically engineer your people to be beautiful. Which is another, like, in-game status effect. Well, I think when a person's beautiful, everybody is constantly, like, throwing out dating and marriage proposals. You know how it is. The things that you, the viewer, and I, the content creator, deal with all the time because we're, gotta be honest, we look good. What can I say? When they're beautiful, people are constantly like, hey, let's do it. But also, if they're not like, hey, let's do it, they're just liked. They're like, damn, that's a good looking person. I could look at that person for a while. And then they do. And they're like, yeah, nice. We'll have some nice conversations. Life is good. We'll talk about things and have a good time. And that like beautiful thing is just everybody likes them already, which is a huge boost, especially if they're kind of like you know, like they're kind of a prick in, you know, in the game. If they've got some questionable ideals or beliefs, sometimes it helps for them to look good, and everybody overlooks that. You know what I mean? Real Ted Bundy vibes. But I digress. Sometimes they do eat people, okay? And you gotta be like, everybody's a bit concerned with the whole people eating thing. How can I, a humble overlord, fix that? It's like, well, you make them really likable, and you don't let them eat too many people, or you have them do it, you know, away from, and you only have them eat bad people, right? If Dexter can commit serial killer crimes against ostensibly the worst people in existence and be mostly fine about it, and he's, you know, well, he's a serial killer and like a psychopath, so it doesn't really bother him anyway. But the point being, if Dexter can do it, then we can let some of our people do it. Just, you build them a room that's like, hey, when you get the urge, you know, to chow down on some of that forbidden meat, just do it to the left a little bit in that room. It's isolated, it's out of the way, you don't need to concern the people, and the people are concerned. And then, you know, all is well. All is well that ends well. So, but basically what I'm trying to say is I'm going to be growing a lot of tongues. I'm going to be genetically engineering my people to be... Actually, I don't know what you can do in terms of, like, genetic modification. I know you can change, like, skin color, but, like, beyond what we would consider normal, you know? I think, because all the pawns in the game can spawn with different skin colors anyway, but I think you can make them, like, red and heat resistant, and maybe blue and cold resistant, things like that. But, like, a resistance to one temperature extreme is like you lose resistance against the other temperature, you know? It's like a whole... Oh, we finished. I was not paying attention. How did we do? 2267. Oh crap. 2443 was my score. I thought we were doing really, really well. But we didn't hit the crazy multiplier that we have in the past, where we've been like 20 multiplier, 17 thing. Let's see if we missed anything. I don't think we did. We had a pretty... Oh, there's a bit of water there, but that wouldn't have moved the needle, I don't think. Oh, look, that little spot we mined at the very bottom. We were so close to another... gadget that we could have ground down for some cobalt. Ah well. It is interesting to see the layout of materials. Like, you can see where you could conceivably miss everything except like one water if you just mined the wrong tunnel. Oh, there's the other gadget as well. I guess miner just goes on. There's another gadget. How far down are you going to show me, game? I don't think miner has ever showed us this low. It's cool though. There we go. And now we're bouncing back up. Yeah, there's a lot of cobalt kind of down this layer. I mean, we never would have got down here. Whoa, I've never heard the music do this. I like that though. Oh yeah. Whoa. A bit of reverb on that. Ooh. We're having a good time. Yeah. Play us out, Domekeeper. Nice. That's a nice transition back into the start of the song again. Hell yeah. Right, so we didn't hit our high score. That's fine. We will try again when we come back to Dome Keeper, whenever that may be. It's been a good time though. So for now, thank you everybody so much for watching Dome Keeper. We will be back. Dome Keeper will return in Captain America Civil War with new things as well. I hope. I'm sure it will. So don't fret. It's still here. Still in the Steam library. It'll always be here. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed Dome Keeper. If you did, hit the like button. Helps out a great deal. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel for more content and that RimWorld. Check the links in the description. Ring that notification button. And I will see all of you in the next one. See ya!